Okay, and welcome back to Star Trek Next Frontier, Episode 10 of Season 1, A Place for Everything. This is Session 2. We are possibly in the middle, or at least the back half of the first half, if that makes any sense, depending on how many parts this episode is going to be. And yeah, we are going to just get underway. David, as usual, Lieutenant Drake, is going to give us our recap of what happened in the first session of this season finale. So why don't you take it away, Lieutenant Drake?
Cool. So there's two main stories happening at the moment. The main one being our encounter with the USS Darwin, which seems to be quite a bit Borg. So we spent a good amount of time in the last session trying to work on a plan of attack, given that they are outgun us and are upgraded in every way possible. So we've designed a little virus to take down the Darwin. Myself, Lalk, and Tashran, along with John Doe and another disposable, highly trained ensign, has come, and we have been teleported over to the USS Darwin because it turns out they are open to dialogue. Once Commander Lalk contacted them, they seemed quite eager to introduce themselves and bring us over to them. So it'll be quite fun if after Lalk's very heartfelt speech about giving up our lives to stop the spread of the Borg, they turn out to be friendly. We went over there, we were chatting with the captain, whose name I have forgotten because I normally highlight it in red and I can't find it now. But we've met the captain and he seems relatively friendly for the time being. Yeah, we learned quite a few things. They believe there's a terminus singularity, which is the star that's infinitely in the distance, is the point where a higher being is found, that this place was made as a prison for some higher being. So we may be in for quite a show there. The second story, of course, is regarding our lovely Lieutenant James, because in a classic Drake sense, she is now two of James, sorry. One dead, one not so dead. Oh, sorry, one never have been alive. So there's an interesting story going on there, and that is happening in the background as well. And I think that was everything.
Captain.
Oh yes. Whilst this is also been going on with the two Jameses, the captain is not doing so well and is getting towards the end of her days. And it's Johan Bard who is the captain of the ship. I've just found it. Let me highlight that in red.
There you go.
But yeah, the captain is not looking so good, which is not great.
Indeed. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Was there any other detail that you thought was overlooked that you want to mention before we go on?
Hey, you didn't mention how Lieutenant Krell keeps messing up my engines.
Yeah. Lieutenant Krell really
blowing up the ship. Yeah.
Maybe wasn't the correct person to leave in charge down in engineering there, but in all fairness, he did
Hold on.
what he thought was best.
Your engines.
Hey, you're dead. You're dead. It's his engines now. Anything else? Everyone's good? Everyone's okay on there? Yes. I'll take the overwhelming silence as a yes. All right, so we will get into on this episode. Or this part of the episode. Back from a commercial break, we pick up in corridor just outside of the science lab. It's the door leading into the Bajoran shrine, and the door pops open, and out comes Lieutenant Weber, stepping out a little unsteady, a little uncertain on your feet, and you have a rush of emotions. Like, you feel like you were just stepping into a nice, well-regulated environment, as if you were just coming out of a freezer. You felt like you were not in the same sort of space that you are in now. The feeling of the physical floor underneath your feet, even that starts to feel a little foreign to you, as it feels like you've been standing for maybe hours, for maybe days. You're not sure, but you don't feel like you were standing on solid ground like you are now. And you keep hearing again in your head repeated voices, the messages assuring you, like, you have to get the word spread to your captain. You have to hurry up and tell the captain. And you feel the message is quickly draining from your memory the second by second that you're standing there. If you don't get to the bridge and tell Captain Sabek what you've just been told, something horrible is about to happen. You can't shake that feeling. Please tell me, sir,
Okay,
what you are doing.
But the captain is not on the bridge, right?
You don't know that. You have no idea.
Okay.
You, as you're standing there thinking about it, your thought as you come out almost instinctually is, I have to get to the bridge. I have to tell Captain Sabek.
Yeah, okay, then I run for the bridge. But I do know, I mean, me as a player, I've been here when we had this last meeting with her, where the whole staff was at a sickbed, I think.
You probably
my
saw her in the observation. You would think so, but that feels like you don't even remember the last time you were on the DeGrasse Tyson.
Okay.
As you're standing there.
So while I'm running towards the turbo lift, I ask computer what time and date is this. Okay. While I'm running down the corridor.
Okay. The computer gives you the star date. It was, God, did I write it down? For this episode, it's gonna be in there somewhere. It would give you a star date of 535. I believe that was 53534, and it gives you a timestamp. It gives you and it gives you the timestamp. What is the shift? Everything that's going, and
what's the last date I remember?
The more you're thinking about the date, the more you're forgetting the message you have to pass.
Okay.
So it's like the more you're thinking of anything, you feel like the only thing you can keep in your head is this message. But the more you're thinking about things, like, you feel it drifting away.
Okay, then I'll just keep repeating the message as good as I can.
Okay. You take the turbo lift up to the bridge. And let's see if we have you on the bridge. So where is Weber's face on the bridge? Something keeps beeping here. Okay. All right. Finding the bridge on here. Going up to the bridge, the turbolift doors.
It's a good way to.
What's that?
It's a good way to work around my absence during the last 2 sessions. Interesting.
Well, you want to know what you were doing, and now your character wants to know what you were doing too. So I figured it makes perfect sense. All right, the door to the bridge opens. It hisses open, and I assume you just dash out as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Captain!
Calls out for Captain. Captain's not there. Alder, you are the one in charge right now. You have the con right now. You're still at your station because you're monitoring a lot of important things, but technically you are the one in command on the bridge right now. And you see Lieutenant Weber dash in, and something strikes you as odd as soon as Weber enters the bridge and you see him. Like, there's a split second where you're looking at him and you don't even know who he is. And then like that, it occurs to you, like, oh yeah, of course, that's Lieutenant Weber. He's now the chief of science here. But you feel like you forgot he even existed up until you saw him right now.
That's why none of the players asked where I was.
Yeah.
Well, I sort of dismissed that bit of worry in my head, and simply, I put it down to the fact we're so in such a tense situation and so busy. So I just sort of quickly shake my head, turn to Weber, a quick glance, say, Weber, why aren't you down in the science?
I need to see the captain right now.
I don't think that's possible. Look,
Where is the
we need you
captain,
down in
please?
science. I seriously, I don't think it's possible. You if you want to see her, you can go down to sick bay, or you can ask the doctor. But we need you.
Okay, right down to the doctor.
Okay. Hang down to sick bay. All right.
Yeah.
So Weber jumps back into the turbolift, goes racing down, and again all.
I can't even think about apologizing later because that would make me lose the message. So I just keep repeating the message.
Okay. You get back into the turbolift, go racing down to sick bay. If I could find sick bay now. Again, trying your best to not forget the message. And you arrive in sick bay, the doors hiss open again, and you go stumbling in. You see directly in front of you, possibly you see, I don't know if anyone's seeing what I'm seeing. You see in front of you, what is it? Thadagia, CMO Thadagia, with one of the medical ensigns treating, and you get double vision for a second as you think you see Lieutenant James on both beds that they are going back and forth between. Not the captain yet, but that's directly what's in front of you right now. Thadagia looks over at you, says, "Unless it's an emergency, Lieutenant, I'm going to have to ask you to come back later."
It's an emergency. I need to see the captain right now.
The captain's in no position to speak right now, and he motions with his head over to the bio bed in the corner.
Okay, is there a way to shove him out of the way dramatically, or just run around him?
Yeah, you could go. He's not blocking your way. You could.
More excited.
Yeah, you could just shove him as he gets close to you.
Yeah, then I'll do that.
Okay. And then goes over to the bio bed, and you see she's in a induced coma.
You need to wake her up right now, please.
Thadagia looks at you.
I can't explain. Just wake her up.
Lieutenant, if I wake her up, she is going to die.
Just as a player, can I even think about what the message is saying, and just kind of to know the importance of what I'm about to what I'm supposed to tell her, or is it just
in your mind you know it is important, but as you're talking, as you're arguing, and you're looking down at the captain, nothing feels right to you. Nothing is feeling the way it's supposed to be. And
just hold on. Now that everyone thinks I'm crazy anyway, I can just take out my tricorder and do a recording of whatever I remember right now.
Okay.
Of the message.
Okay. So you start recording. Okay, you break out your tricorder, and everyone's standing there looking at you, and you're speaking rapidly into the tricorder. Ensign Brooks, you're standing in there treating, and now you can't ignore this either, even though you're trying your best to figure out what's happening with the two Lieutenant Jameses. Suddenly, you know, who is the chief science officer right now is standing in the corner next to the captain, shouting what sounds like gibberish into the tricorder. It sounds like random syllables, random sounds, and strings of numbers.
How long does it take? So how
you're done. Sure you're done recording everything, and okay. You think you got your message out. You think everything was the way you were supposed to say it.
But it still doesn't make any sense to me.
It made sense to you as you were saying it, but as soon as you said it, you forget everything that it was. In your mind, it made perfect sense.
Uh-huh. So how am I supposed to explain what just happened?
As you go back and you try listening to the message again, it sounds like gibberish to you as well.
Yeah. So do I now remember when I had stepped into the shrine and what I was planning to do there?
You were going into the shrine, now that you think about it, you were going into the shrine because every time again, you might recall when you were going from one pocket to another, you started detecting there would be a surge of energy, you later traced it down to Verteron particles, and the last time that the ship went through into what is now this final pocket, you were ready there to pick up all the readings that you could get. So you went down to the station, the science lab, and you set up everything inside the shrine to make sure the moment you passed through, you got direct readings, and that was the last thing you remember.
Okay.
Well, I'll say you do remember there was a flash of light.
Yeah.
But then you have these vague memories lingering that you were somewhere else, and you were somewhere else for a very long time, and you were doing other things, and you've certainly met and spoke with other people, but now it feels that is almost like when you wake up from a dream and you're struggling to remember the dream, and the harder you try to think about it, the more you're forgetting it. But you're just left with that vague feeling of, I know I was there, I know I did this, but I can't get it back right now. As you're doing that, Dr. Thadagia is going to step up to you. He's looking mighty concerned, and he has his scanning probe out of his tricorder, and he's going it right in front of your face, trying to scan.
Yeah.
Lieutenant.
Yeah, go ahead, Lieutenant.
What was that just now? What happened? Are you okay?
I'm not sure actually. I had this very, very strong urge to deliver this message, and now that I listen to it, I have no idea what it's saying.
He looks down at his tricorder. You are completely saturated with Verteron particles. Were you exposed to something?
I guess my character knows what that means, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, those were kind of the particles you were detecting from the shrine every time you went through one of the little barriers. They're often found in wormholes.
Okay.
Which is kind of an odd thing to find outside of wormholes in I would say high concentrations, and with the doctor saying that you're saturated in them, it sounds to you as a scientist very very unlikely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there must have been some phase shifting going on. Yeah. Would it make any sense to have myself checked on deeper levels?
He nods. He said, "It might. I've never seen someone basically radiating Verteron particles before, so I'm not sure exactly what effects it might have on your health, but I don't think now is the time. that we have to investigate it. If you're thinking you're okay to resume duty, you might want to do that. As far as whether or not
Well,
there's
physically, yeah.
you are okay. Then I will ask you to come back perhaps a little bit later when things have calmed down and we know we're not about to be assimilated by the Borg or destroyed by something.
The Borg?
You know, Lieutenant, I'm having trouble remembering where you were for the last 2 days.
Yeah, that's what I've been wondering as well. And to be honest, I don't really know what's the best way to go forward for me right now, because I seem to have missed a lot, and I have this weird feeling. And can I ask, will the if I can be so blunt, will the captain ever wake up again? Will there be a way to deliver the message? I might have missed some news there as well.
Are you asking the doctor? You asking me?
Yeah. Yes.
His face will draw grim, and he said, "We're all hoping for a good outcome, but I think that we've seen this coming for a long time now. I don't think we're going to be having another conversation with the captain anytime soon."
Okay.
The message could be passed to Commander Lalk, however. Captain Lalk, my apologies.
Yeah, where is he? I didn't see him on the bridge.
Oh, he went.
I think I didn't see him on the bridge.
He went over to the. Okay, how about this, Lieutenant Weber? Why don't you head back up to Lieutenant Alder? He's in command right now. Explain to him exactly what is going on, and maybe let him know that I don't even remember anything about you for the last 2 days, nor have you ever even entered my mind when I've been treating the crew. It's almost like you stopped existing since we entered this portion of the pocket universe we're in.
Yeah, that might be a good idea. Maybe on the way up, the computer could fill me in on what happened over these last 2 days.
That might be a good idea. So I suggest you do that. I apologize. We really have our hands full down here, and he motions at the full beds and the odd situation the whole place is in.
What's this? Why are there 2 Jameses?
Just go to the bridge, okay? And just you'll figure everything out. Let us deal with this down here. You deal with your thing up there, okay?
Okay. And while I'm heading out, I turn around as well. Are you sure I'm not contaminating the ship with these particles radiating within me?
He looks down at his tricorder, and before the door closes, he kind of shrugs at you.
Okay.
All right. So you'll head up to the bridge. Back over to the Darwin crew. The Darwin crew people. Oh, if I could even find where the Darwin is. The first thing I want to know is that so a little bit of time has kind of passed since the end of the last session, how Captain Badu said that he wants to, well, now that he has another Starfleet crew there working together, he knows a way to get out. So there should be a little more, or there would have been, I should say, a little more talking between all of you, perhaps, how to do that. So if there's anything you want to bring up, anything you want to do at this moment to begin the scene in progress, we can do that.
I just want a little bit of a clarification on the conversation we've had, the one we're glossing over. How Borgy has he been speaking? Like,
He hasn't been sounding like the Borg because the Borg sound like the Borg because they're speaking all in unison. He's speaking with a single voice. He
Okay.
seems his voice sounds normal, but you see doesn't he doesn't appear to be accustomed to operating his body normally. You see the way he came out, how everything is a little overwhelming to him, almost like having the sensations on his own has become a bit unfamiliar. But there's very little in the way of signs of assimilation on him. You might catch signs of like something peeking out of a sleeve or on the collar, like a junction point. Maybe very, very faded signs of the veins that you kind of get when you see an assimilated person, but nothing overt.
Mhm. All right, well, I guess that's good for now. Better than could have been expected.
Okay. As you're all there in some indistinct chatter, the what's it called? The turbolift door is going to open, and another crew member of the Darwin comes out onto the bridge. You see, it is a Bolian, and you recognize her from, of course, you've been studying up on the Darwin's file as you've been trying to track them down. And as soon as she comes in, though, Captain Badu introduces her. And let me make sure I get the name right, because I don't want to say the wrong name. There's a bunch of names in here. He introduces her. Said, Captain Lalk, this is my current first officer, Lieutenant Commander Lex. She took over after we lost Commander Hess.
A pleasure.
She steps out and she smiles at you and everyone in the room. Again, that is Drake, John Doe, Thishron, and one other spare in case somebody needs to make an extra character, right? Or you need someone to die, right? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. The Bolian steps out. Captain, and she nods to the other crew members. It has been such a long time since we've seen other Starfleet personnel. I don't know what to say. I didn't think we would find any more here in this pocket.
Perhaps I misunderstand you. By any more, are you only referring to yourselves, or have you come across other Starfleet crews?
No, I apologize. I am referring to just ourselves here. It was perhaps I'm not using my words as correctly as I once have. We tend to not speak out loud often these days.
Captain, this technology you found is fascinating. You say that the crew is integrated with the ship. How many of your crew must be integrated at a time? How many are out and about running the ship as in the same form that you and your XO here are?
Captain Badu frowns. It's a little difficult to answer, as I think by this point it's safe to consider myself and my fellow crew members to be as one with this ship. We are as much inside the Darwin as we are able to connect with each other. What these Borg are truly a fascinating species. The way they can link minds together to work as one, and not just with each other, but with their own technology, their own vessels. It's no wonder that they were a formidable foe for those who crossed them.
Are there signs that they came across many different groups, many different species before you encountered them?
Oh, quite a number. These Borg seem to have a history reaching back hundreds and hundreds of years. They have been collecting species, assimilating them, as they refer to it, to make their collective pure, to make it perfect. They're seeking perfection. That's the message we got when we ourselves were being assimilated, thankfully, before we were able to break free because of that very, very gracious technology given to us by those who were lost.
But this all occurred here in this, I hesitate to call it a place, but where we are currently.
Yes, it was all here.
So, is the group that you escaped from still here too?
Oh, are you referring to what drove us into this pocket?
Oh, is that how it happened? When you had first encountered the Borg, was it in this pocket, or?
Oh, I'm not sure who you're referring to us escaping. The Borg we found here in this final area with the terminus singularity.
I see. And you mentioned that you were trying to escape yet another group, which brought you here into this pocket. We had assumed that you would come here to investigate it.
We were chased for quite a number of days by Romulans as we were exploring an area known as the Sphere of Zilzik. We encountered some, I don't know, installation or at least some goings on with the Romulans that no one had any record of, and unfortunately we were detected. We tried avoiding them for as much as we could. Unfortunately, our vessel at that time was no match for what firepower they had, and it was a gambit to hide inside of a comet that we discovered, but turned out to be little more than a comet.
I see. We too came through the Sphere of Zilzik on our search for you.
So you were actively searching for us even after so many years?
That was our mission, yes.
Fascinating.
We're happy that not only to find help here in this pocket, but also to find you so that we might help you return back to Starfleet.
So do you have a means of escape with your vessel on your own?
We do not. I must admit, we did not know exactly what we were in for when we entered this place.
Nor did we.
But hopefully together we should be able to overcome this.
I believe we can.
The old human saying goes, I think, 2 Starfleet ships is better than 1.
I've never heard that saying, but I firmly agree with your assessment. I was hoping by your words you meant you've already had technology that could extract us from here, but being that you don't, I believe the secret lies in this Borg technology, and we could have freed ourselves much, much earlier if we only had capable power reserves and our own ability to adapt better to what they offered. But if you are here with a vessel that is even more advanced than our own, I think we could definitely combine our resources and get out.
We must try.
Indeed. And I would recommend we don't waste any more time. The longer we are here out of our alcoves and functioning and powering up the ship is the more we are losing power that we need to get out of here. And I am not sure how your vessel is doing, but our scan did not give us a very encouraging outcome if you do not get yourselves, I would say, recharged soon. Your vessel seems to be on its last legs, Captain.
Indeed, we are not in the best of energy situations. This space has left for lacking. We will surely need to find an energy source soon.
Well,
so I propose that we, me and my crew, return to our ship, and together we can continue towards this anomaly that we can see in the distance, as this seems as our only current option for exploration in a direction of that, so that we can leave this place.
Captain Badu nods. Your insight serves you well. It is at that point that seems unreachable that we must go. That is, without doubt, the only way for us to escape from here. Captain, I agree. You should go back to your vessel and inform your crew of what we must do. But I ask that you take one of my crew with you as well, so we can begin to make plans of what needs to be done between both vessels. If you would like to leave one of your crew members here, that is also not a problem at all.
All right. Captain, I want to be direct with you. As you can see, I'm both human and Klingon, and my Klingon side does not allow me. My Klingon race, or the part of me that was raised Klingon, does not allow me to deceive you in any way. I must be straightforward. We look forward to working together with you, but at this time, our crew will not use your Borg technology to, as you describe it, assimilate. I believe that we will serve our purpose better, having a more varied approach to the problem rather than a singular approach, having both new Starfleet and your Starfleet work in tandem rather than as in one.
Captain nods. It might not be necessary to incorporate any of this Borg technology into your own vessel. Only time will tell once we know exactly how well we can work together with these two ships. But as you also like to speak straight from the heart, I think I will have to be a little straightforward myself here and remind you that I am the ranking officer here. You may be acting captain, but I am an actual captain. And as Starfleet regulations define, two vessels, when they meet up, the one that is in the fittest condition in a dire situation takes command. And I think you'll agree, Captain, that the Darwin is that ship. So, not to step on any toes here, but let me just say that my crew and I are very eager to be out of this once and for all. And we look forward to a very prosperous relationship between our two crews, if you understand me, Captain.
Understood, Captain. Now, let's not waste any more time, as time is energy.
Indeed it is. Will you be leaving anyone behind here? An engineer, perhaps.
I first look in Thashan's direction. and then I look at oh gosh, what were their names? David,
John Doe and Sacrifice Anonymous.
Yeah.
I believe his name was.
Yeah, well, I look at Sacrifice Anonymous and say, well, you were born for this role.
Oh boy. Okay. Okay, and then he is going to send he'll send Lieutenant Commander Lex with you, since she's already there. All right, so beaming back over to the DeGrasse Tyson, right? All right, the scene is changing, so we're losing the one momentum, and that as it is, as I rarely do, but I mean, come on. I gotta start doing stuff like that now. All right, we could go straight into the meeting, the observation deck, and that now, but I would like to go back to the bridge real quick of the DeGrasse Tyson. I want to make sure I'm talking about the right ships. To have Weber and Alder have their scene together, because yeah,
I would appreciate if the scene starts after I've filled him in on everything, so we don't have to.
Yeah. You said you want the computer to give you a quick rundown of the events that have happened.
Yeah, and I mean after I've explained to Alder.
Okay. All right. So that is where am I? Hang on. That's why I'm on the wrong overlay. All right. So you're back on the bridge, and you've explained to Alder, and Alder, as he told you, like he doesn't really have memories of the last couple days. He kind of feels like he hasn't even been on the ship for quite a long time, and that tracks with how, again, that odd sensation you felt when you first saw him, as if you had never seen him before, and then the memories just filled themselves back in, as if somebody did a Control X and they were gone for a second, and then like, oh shoot, they're looking, and they did a Control Paste, and suddenly they're all right back there. So, are you on bridge? Yeah, we got the bridge on there. So he explained that all to you, and about the Verteron particles, and everyone's kind of confused. The doctor's confused what that's all about. And did you, Weber, did you play your message of gibberish to him that you were desperately trying to get to the captain? Okay, so you heard him speaking in tongues and acting like a madman on his tricorder. It's like somebody that's trying to push their mixtape on you that you really have no interest in, and you're like, nice, cool. So you're caught up now on all that nonsense. So take it away. Anything you would like to do and say? Oh, I should also, I am so sorry. There's also, my bad. Where is it? Right there.
Sacrifice Anonymous's wife is on the bridge.
Crying. No, here it is. Talar brought the coffee that you requested to. So he brought the cans of coffee that you've been distributing throughout the ship. So there you go.
I'm zooming in on the Roll20 just to see if I can spot my character holding one there.
If you zoom in enough. And Talar's listening in intently because, he's also in the science department. So he's trying to figure out what the heck all of this means as well.
So I obviously assume I just hear this gibberish. I have no clue what it is, right?
It doesn't even sound like words. It doesn't even sound like a language that you've ever encountered. It sounds like random sounds.
Oh, I thought
I
it
do
was
my
numbers. And
There were numbers
random
too. There were numbers too.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I do my best Spock impression by just lifting an eyebrow towards Weber.
So what is this nonsense? What are we doing here?
Computer, can you make any sense of this? It doesn't even answer.
Talar looks at Alder.
Weber,
No,
our
sorry, I was
computer-
asking the computer. Sorry, I was asking the computer if it could make any
Computer,
sense.
computer. No, there's.
Okay.
It doesn't match up with anything in its database. It's like, oh, computer, what's that mean? It's like, nothing. I don't know. Go away. Yeah, the computer can't help you there.
Look, I think Alder is going to be very, very quick on this because like there's 101 other things he needs to be handling with a ship that's about to fall to pieces. So he's pretty much. I tend to Talar and say, Talar, anyway, the two of you can work on this while I try and get the ship functioning.
There, Listen, Alder, I'm either going to be making coffee or I'm going to be helping this guy talk crazy. Which is it?
Well, I think let's placate him and you help the crazy guy sort out his issues. I'll deal with my own stuff here. Coffee can wait.
Coffee. You pulled me off of 3 different projects to make, brew, deliver. Where did we even get the cans, Alder? But no, you don't care about that, do you? No, that's fine. I'll just drop the coffee now. Do you know how much I have down in storage that I still have to hand out?
I'm just whispering under my breath. Why could it not have been Talar that was cloned instead of James?
What are you whispering now? Are you doing gibberish too? Okay, fine. Let's go. Okay, Weber, where are we doing? We're going down. And what is this Verderon stuff? What is that? Where'd that come from? Did you break something in your little shrine there? Are you taking things you're not allowed to take? Playing around with chemicals, playing around with radiation, and you're poisoning the ship now?
Like I said, I have no idea what happened.
Yeah, nobody has any idea. You know what? I don't even have an idea. For a second there, I didn't even recognize you, and now I'm supposed to help you. All right, let's go. Let's go. And take your coffee. Don't leave it there. It leaves rings if you leave it on top of the counter. Do you have it?
I don't drink.
You don't.
Didn't I offer you the one that Lalk gave us back then?
It doesn't. I don't know. I don't remember anything you've ever done for me. Have you ever done anything for me? I know you wasted my time. Have you done anything other than that? I don't remember. Let's figure it out together. We're science lab? Is that where we're going? Alder, is that where you want us to be? Because you're so busy now. Because you're not Mr. Science anymore.
I quickly glanced at it and I said, I was thinking about Verderon particles. Like, wormholes have Verderon particles, correct, Talar?
Of course. What else has Verderon particles? Well, aside from the natural formations. But yeah, of course.
I remember, wasn't there a specific wormhole near Deep Space Nine as well? That was important to the Bajorans.
Yeah, of course. Oh, so you think this guy got poisoned because he's from Bajor?
Potentially. That's just one idea I have.
Well, I haven't heard anything about the wormhole killing them all, so I guess he's not going to die. But I also haven't heard anything about anyone being saturated with Verderons.
Well, maybe the two of you can work on this down in the science lab, see what you can come up with. But yeah, and let me know if you find anything. Otherwise, if you need me to contact Lalk, just give me a shout.
He looks over at Weber.
Weber's already in the turbolift, actually waiting to go down.
What? You're not even standing here listening to it? Oh my goodness! Now this is why I have to put up.
I tinted it on and said, yeah, he did that earlier as well. Just popped in, went, and gone before. Just said hi and bye.
What is wrong with this? This is who you leave me with. This is who, and the door's shut. Don't hear them anymore. All right, they're heading down there. Real quick before we do the observation scene 2, now that James is back, I want to jump back into sickbay. And he's gone, but not forgotten. Okay, so back in sickbay with Ensign Brooks after Thadagia finally chases Lieutenant Weber out of sickbay. He comes back over to you. Brooks, are you there? Just to make sure.
Yes.
Okay, last time I called your name, I knocked you offline, so I want to make sure I don't have that power. Okay.
That was my cat standing on the power switch.
Darn cat. Okay, so Doctor, I guess that's correct. Dr. Thadagia comes over to you. Okay, Ensign. Now, I don't know.
He'll be okay?
Who? Weber? Maybe. We'll figure that out. Like, they'll call us if not. I need to figure out what's happening here with James. Can you said the hologram, because this is clearly a hologram, and he's touching it, but it's solid. It's clearly a hologram. You said this James was the one injured in engineering, right?
Yes.
So why is this James knocked out? And he points over to the biological one. Why is she unconscious when we beamed her away in the medical emergency? Do we know that?
The brain activity is odd.
It's very odd, indeed. Do you think that the hologram version of James attacked the regular version of James?
She pulls out a tricorder and quickly goes over the body of James. The well, they're both unconscious. The living James. There doesn't appear to be any injuries, though, other than very minor bruising, but that wouldn't cause this.
And yet the hologram one is showing signs of injuries as if she was in an explosion, even though she doesn't have a body to damage.
Well, that works with what Krell said. She was at the console when it exploded.
Yeah, but she's not real. Just wait one moment here, Ensign Brooks. Let me just check something. Okay. And Thadagia takes a step back and he says, "Computer, activate the EMH." And then EMH appears. "Please state the nature of the medical emergency." Thadagia takes a laser scalpel and slashes the EMH across the face. Ow! What? There's no scar, nothing. Like, thank you. Computer, deactivate EMH. Then disappears. No damage. So why does she have damage?
But what, is this one even in our computer system? Well, I guess surely it has to be.
Well, but didn't you walk her here? There's no emitters between engineering and here. So she can't be in the system or she would have just disappeared. Even if, I don't even know if James got the holo emitters working in engineering before all of this happened. And even if they were working, the moment you stepped out in the hall, she would disappear.
mean, I can't fault that logic, but she didn't disappear, and she's here, and she's a hologram. And
Wait a moment. Wait a moment. Let me hang on. There was the holographic Gene race that we encountered on pretty much our first mission out of once we left Narendra Station. They were holograms that could, for at least short times, I don't know how short, but for at least some durations, exist separate from any system.
that was a year ago.
That was about a year ago.
It was a long time ago. Do you think they've been stowing away here or something?
I don't know. That is a good question. Can you scan her to see if they have any of the telltale signs of the Gene photonic radiation?
She'll do a scan.
Okay, try to link it up with the database and see. And you see on the scan that it is picking up pretty strong traces of the Gene photonic radiation.
It looks like you were right.
He looks at the screen.
She shows the doctor the results.
He's looking at it like, it doesn't look like a full Gene hologram, or instance as they called it. But yeah, this is definitely the radiation. Okay, well that might explain...
Did they copy her?
But they never met Lieutenant James.
She was here, though.
Okay, we need to look into this a little bit more. Okay. And at this point, there's a chime or whatever that comes in throughout the ship that there is like a senior staff meeting with once Lalk and everyone returns back. Thadagia looks at that like, oh, I am okay. Ensign Brooks, much like our previous CMO was always so kind to designate me to stand in for him at these meetings for one reason or another. I am a little too preoccupied down here, and he gives you the whole knighting ceremony on your shoulders. You are to take my place at this senior staff meeting. Don't worry. They're not bad people. You'll be fine, Ensign. Just go there, listen what they have to say, tell me what it has to do with medical, and come down here, okay?
Are you sure, sir? Doctor?
I'm very sure. And he motions around to the captain and the two Jameses and the flickering lights on the wall. I'm very sure. Can you please just do that for me?
Yes, Doctor.
Thank you. Go see what they want, and hopefully it's not anything even stranger than what we're dealing with now. Okay, before we go into the meeting... I
doubt we can get any stranger.
Okay.
And she disappears out the door.
At this point, I seriously, I hope not. Anyone else want to do anything before we go into the meeting room?
Yeah.
Yes,
back
sir.
before we even left the other ship,
Mm-hmm.
on our way out, I pull Lieutenant Drake aside and say that he's to keep an eye on the CO. Lex, is it?
Yes.
And that under no circumstances is she to touch our computers.
That's going to get awkward, Commander, but I will do my best to work on that.
And just mention that we want to keep a good relationship with them, but also, they are still Borg.
Yeah, as she reaches for a computer. No, no touch. Yes, no.
Borg.
No Borg. No jumping on the power cable. That's how James fell out.
Aww.
Yeah, as you wish, Commander. I will keep a close eye on her.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Anything else? Anything else anyone needs done? I'm going to assume that's a no. Hang on here. Just setting up the room.
Oh, actually, what have you been doing down there in the science lab?
Pretty much you would just be getting down to the science lab just by the way the time is working out. You would be just getting down to the science lab about the time they're coming back from the thing. So you're going to be called back to that room before you can even start any of the tests on you.
Yeah.
Okay. And where is that kind woman? Where is she? Okay. I'm going to go. There's just way too many pages. There's way too many pages here on that I have on Roll20 now. So I have to sort through so much. Okay. It should be good. Moving into conference room. We have a conference room. We do have a conference room. There we go. So we'll have Ensign Brooks come in late because, of course, she's never really had a senior staff meeting before. Do we have everything? 1, 2. Who else do we need there? Anyone else? We're good? We're good, right? I think we're okay, right? All the players
wouldn't be here, would he?
What's that? Krill would not be there because technically he's not a senior staff member yet. Anyhow, technically. Okay. We good?
Technically, not an engineer because engineers can fix engines.
Now, let's be nice. Let's be nice to him. He only broke some of it, not all of it. Okay. All right. So yeah, Ensign Brooks, you step into the room and you see all the heads swivel, look at you kind of confusedly, and of course, as an ensign, this probably feels a little bit like imposter syndrome with you, as you are not senior staff and you're not even a chief medical officer. You are just his stand-in for now.
He looks very sort of out of place, but shuffles over to the seat and then sort of announces, Dr. Thadagio sends his apologies. He's very busy with the captain and asked me to attend in his place, and then sits down and just sort of sits quietly.
And those of you who did not go over to the Darwin, you see that you are joined by a Bolian in old-style uniform. So that would be Alder and Weber, I believe, and of course Brooks as well. But you're all gathered here in the observation lounge to discuss what plans you may or may not need to be doing to get the ship and get everyone out of there.
I'd begin the meeting by introducing the commander to our guest, to the rest of the crew that is in attendance. And then afterward, look to her and say, so Commander, what can you tell us about the anomaly?
She nods to you. Thank you, Captain. From what we have gathered from our own experiences here, from what we have picked up from other travelers, and what we have learned combined from our knowledge with the Borg database, is this anomaly fits the telltale signs of stories that are in multiple cultures throughout the galaxy, where there is a powerful alien creature that needs to be contained in a pocket or a bubble outside of the space-time continuum. And we feel that we have inadvertently, your ship included, become trapped inside of this pocket. If the stories are correct, this creature is encased in whatever that singularity, that focal point is, at the heart of this pocket universe, which is
cultural historian Lieutenant Raven nods along.
Yeah, as it's the core of what I guess you would call this prison, and I'm sure your sensors have already read it. It's infinitely far away because it's only reachable normally at the end of time, I guess would be the best way to say it. And that's why all the worlds that have been pulled into here or placed into here or got stuck into here have been dragged not physically to it, but perhaps temporally into this core, where they will be destroyed. From what we can gather, it's hard to say what will happen to things that are dragged into this core. The only thing that we know is it's meant to keep the creature locked up, but the only way to break this prison would be to break that core. We have to go into the core to find the means of doing that.
And are you or your ship not concerned about the possibility of releasing whatever this creature is? Perhaps it was put here for a reason.
It possibly has multiple reasons. We can't say for sure whether it even is a true creature or not. The stories come from multiple worlds, multiple civilizations, and they all have multiple parables attached to them, some of which are contradictory. It's very possible that what we do might release whatever is trapped inside, but we also have reason to believe that this would not be the first time that this creature has been released and recaptured throughout the whole existence of the universe.
Perhaps before we disable this core, we can learn of how to re-enable it once we have left.
Indeed, but we will know none of that until we actually get there. Our sensors cannot scan something that exists at the end of time.
Can I ask you to send all the info you have about this possible creature or this entity and the according legends to me, please?
I will do what I can, Lieutenant. However, a lot of the information that we have exists inside of our hive mind. And from the way your captain has expressed his desires on our vessel, he would not like you or your crew to be part of that hive mind.
Yeah.
However, if you would like to try and your captain permits, I'm sure we would be able to accommodate you.
Perhaps you can simply burn us a disc with information.
That's more what I thought. Actually, I wasn't intending to join the hive mind even for a second.
I know this seems like antiquated technology compared to what you have now, but
we still use mini disc on the Oberth class, so I'm afraid. No, I as Captain Badu has tried to explain to you, Captain, it's very difficult to express what it is like to be in this state that we are in right now. I'm not trying to phrase it in a way to frighten you. I don't want you to think that this board technology is something to be feared. We've learned that this has actually been quite beneficial to us and our survival. We would have died decades ago just of natural causes had it not been for this technology. However, explaining how a hive mind and a source of knowledge that exists not in my own mind, but between the minds of everyone who's connected, it's not something I can just transcribe to a data pad or put into your computers. It's not even something I can explain in words. You would have to experience it yourself.
understood. Perhaps after this meeting, then you can use the most old-fashioned of data transfer methods, and you can have a conversation with Lieutenant Weber about any details he might need or be interested in concern to these fables and myths.
I would be very happy to do that once we are safe.
Can I just, gentlemen, just for a second? I feel like people might be a bit embarrassed that they haven't thought about me in the last couple of days. Nobody has asked where I've been, so maybe I can just fill you in for a minute about what's happened.
As soon as he says that, I want Lalk and the people who were on the ship there, Lalk and Thishran and Drake. As soon as you hear Weber say that, it occurs to you like, oh yeah, I haven't seen it there. And then you start to think back, when was the last time I saw him? And all three of you, like separately, this is happening, like, when was the last time I saw him? And you don't remember ever seeing him before in your life. And then just like that, one by one, all these memories start coming back, like, oh yeah. But it's just a very odd sensation inside all three of your brains. But you're experiencing the same thing, so that's why you don't know each other's experiencing the same thing, but you are all experiencing the same thing. Sorry, Weber.
So what were you thinking when I was talking earlier, when I asked for the information?
Yeah, what were you thinking?
Who's this guy?
Yeah, what the hell is this? Well, they already have this new ensign that nobody knows who it is coming in. It's like, oh, I guess this is the guy standing in for Talar, maybe?
They let anyone in these days.
Yeah. Is there actual senior crew member in the senior staff meeting here? So go ahead, Weber. I apologize.
No, that's.
You're just sharing
yeah.
What happened to you? Okay, so you hear his story of how.
But as a player, I was wondering what everyone thought when I was asking for the information about this entity, or was it one of those things that can't really be grasped?
Well, I don't know if they want to answer. Do you? How would your characters react as you're realizing this?
Drake would pretend he always knew that Faber was there. At security, I know where everybody is.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it was a question from the player to the game master, because when they didn't remember me until before I talked about this, and I had asked for the information earlier.
So it
was
would
just
that would probably be about the time where it starts coming back. If
Okay.
they're listening to you and trying to think about who you are, then it'll start coming back. If they're just listening to a question and focusing on the problem, they might not even be paying attention to who's talking here. And
Okay,
then like
okay.
the moment you draw attention to yourself and they're like, ah, kind of like that. So it's sort of like you were, as I'm trying to explain, like in the different scenes where it's come up, it was almost like it was gone from your memory completely, as if there was a blank void of anything relating to Weber. Like if you had to think back to something that involved Weber, you would remember the incident happening, but just the thought of him being there would not be part of it. Even if he was like a key element of it, it's like, oh yeah, that thing happened to a guy, and you wouldn't even, your mind would just like skip over like a skipping track on the record or something. That oh yeah, this whole event happened, but this key linchpin person doesn't really matter. You hit that and you bounced off of it. You kept going. But now that you're thinking about him and you see him there, it's like, yeah, I know him. I know. Of course I know. Oh yeah, that's Weber. Oh yeah, of course. And now if Weber, you said you were explaining what happened to you over the last 2 days, you want to add that to the meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. So he basically, I'm assuming you just lay it all out like you did with Alder.
Yeah, including the message.
Okay. And he plays his mixtape for you all, and you're sitting there listening to it like, yeah, okay. And all of this, I would say it makes no sense, but everything for the last couple of months has made no sense. You've been trapped in this pocket universe. But this is just yet another mystery tacked on top.
Ensign Brooks will do another medical scan of Weber while she's there, while he's playing the thing and talking about the stuff and all that. She just sort of quietly pulls out the medical tricorder and just starts doing a scan of him just to check the radiation again that the doctor had done earlier. And, just to make sure. Okay,
there's still some traces of the Verteron particles, but it's not like he's saturated anymore. Definitely signs that he's been exposed to them somehow, but they've faded over the last, hour or so that he's been around.
All right.
Lieutenant, could you try to... Sorry, I assume we all heard gibberish on the recording.
You all heard gibberish. And numbers. Yeah, just random numbers every now and then, but gibberish.
Lieutenant, could you try again to explain what it is that you felt so desperate to share with the captain?
I honestly have no idea. It was just these words.
Don't describe it. Try explaining again in the same way you did when you recorded it.
I'm not sure I understand what you mean. I'm sorry.
You obviously had something you needed to tell the captain, but were unable to record it because you weren't telling her.
Yes.
And since I am acting captain now, perhaps if you try again, it'll be successful this time. If you are saying it to me.
Oh, that's the thing is, I had to get this. I couldn't think of anything else. As soon as I thought about the meaning or the possible meaning, these words were disappearing. So I just had this urge to spit it out. I could try to get myself back into this mindset, but I do not think it will lead to any other result. I could actually maybe head back to the shrine and see if anything like this comes up again. But if I had been in there for several days,
perhaps we should have a duel, as that is how we put ourselves in the one. Nothing like
Bull,
open
sorry to
combat
interject
calm
here.
the
Yeah.
mind.
Sorry to interject. Like, I turn to Commander Lalk, and I say, Captain, I hear a series of numbers like interspersed. Like, that would seem to be something I'd like to take a bit of a look at. As you know me, I love a little puzzle, so perhaps that could give us some other clue as to what this message actually is.
Certainly. Lieutenant, add it to your list of projects.
We'll do so. Bull, can you send me the numbers on Discord or something?
Okay,
If
well,
it's
there's
important.
just a bunch of numbers, so we're just going to assume there's numbers in your head you're going to be working with. Okay. I won't.
So,
It's
I'm sorry.
not like
As far as I remember, is the feeling I had when I felt like delivering this message. I had to deliver this message. Was it more like some internal wisdom that I suddenly had, or was it did I feel like someone told me to get this out?
you feel like somebody told you to get it out.
Oh, and a strong feeling. So
Yeah.
it was really a message. I go, okay, then I'll share that, of course. Strong enough for possibly being from this entity that we've been talking about, or
You know you were speaking with at least one other person. You know you were in
okay.
conversation with somebody. You know you
Yeah, so
came
that's definitely
out of that
something I'll share.
conversation and you had this message to pass.
Okay. Ah, okay. Yeah, maybe we can look for some kind of pattern or something like that in this message.
The message was recorded really fast, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Could you try slowing
get
the
this
message down?
Oh, that would be easy. Yeah, we can try that. Yeah, I'll play it on half speed, maybe.
Okay, while a good idea, it's still just random syllables and sounds, so it doesn't
Yeah.
really change anything extra. It just makes the numbers sound weirder.
Well, now that I know that, maybe I just remembered it in this scene. Now that I remember that I got this message from some other personal intelligence or whatever, maybe I should head down to a science lab and have a really close look at it, looking for patterns and maybe decode it if it's some kind of code. I have additional ways to look into it down in the science lab than just on my tricorder.
Sounds like a plan, Lieutenant. And perhaps if that doesn't work, you can find a method. You can attempt to re-enter that state we're in.
Yeah.
Captain, I'm waving my hands desperately, pointing to a little badge on my chest saying, "My value is puzzle solver."
Please, Lieutenant, work together with Lieutenant Weber.
Which lieutenant are you speaking to, sir?
Lieutenant Order.
Ah, okay, I'll let him know. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Ensign Brooks is looking very confused.
And then Talar comes in and starts handing out coffees to everyone.
We'll strike those poses and just like clink our tins together.
Lieutenant Commander Lex speaks up. Like, this is very fascinating information of what's happening with other members of your crew here. However, Captain, I really must insist that we speed up our efforts to try to get us out of here. This is the closest we've been to having a true ally here with technology that can get everyone out of here free. I would not want to wait much longer to get started. if you don't mind, I would like to work with your chief engineer and try to devise a way of how to combine the technologies of our two vessels so we can reach this singularity.
Commander, that is an excellent idea. I will send you along with our chief engineer so that you might start planning.
Thank you.
Wait, who is the chief engineer since Krell is not here?
Well, it would be James, but James.
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
James
That's what I
is-
mean.
But
Since we don't have either.
the next best actual engineer after James is Lieutenant Alder. It's already on 100 different other projects.
Well then.
I take a deep sip of coffee.
So I look to Lieutenant Alder and say, as you know, Lieutenant Alder, the situation in engineering is less than ideal. So I hope that you and the commander are able to solve one of our many problems, and that I hope that your to-do list has not grown too large for you to handle.
Anything for you, Captain?
Yeah, and then I look to Lieutenant Drake. Perhaps our shortage of crew in engineering could be bolstered by you, Lieutenant Drake. I know that you have a personal fascination, despite your security status, with engineering. And just kind of tilt my head a little bit towards him.
Yes, Commander, I will love the opportunity to learn more of my hobby.
Excellent, Lieutenant.
Drake's very nervous at this point because he breaks pens when he uses them, so.
And Lieutenant Deshron, your input might also be, as the helmsman of our ship, your input on how to arrive at our destination might be valuable to the team that is working on this. So I'd like you to assist in addition to Lieutenant Drake.
That's what you want.
Yes, I believe that is what I said.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to do it then, won't I?
Please.
Drake starts getting his phone ready to record another fight, just in case.
Or hug, depending on what happens.
Secretly turning on the record function. All right, everyone have their plan then?
I mean,
Before I go,
Yeah.
sorry.
his last video of the hug is his highest upvoted
Yeah.
post.
That's on all the social media.
Yeah.
He's doing well.
On InstaFleet, yeah. All right, what was that, Weber?
I was wondering if our guest could maybe come join us in the science lab with her knowledge or quasi knowledge of this entity. Maybe that will help.
She wants to
Believe she
focus
would be,
more
yeah.
on getting the ship out first, so she might be willing to do that later, she might say. But she's
Okay,
kinda
then
dead
I
set
ask her again to transfer all the data that they can transfer to our small-minded brains or computers without having to tap into the hive mind.
she suggests I can have another member of our crew come over here and assist you. That would
Oh,
be
yeah,
no
that-
problem.
Yes, would be appreciated.
I will arrange that immediately.
Thank you.
Okay?
Drake sat there thinking he wishes there was another Drake to watch that one.
And there will be. Anything else? Anything else? We good?
I will. I look to the ensign and say, Ensign, after the meeting, I would like a moment to discuss the current status of in Medbay.
Yes, Captain.
Okay.
Because at this point, I assume no one has said anything about the captain to our new friends.
I don't believe so, no.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. All right. Then we are about 10 minutes early, but I say why don't we start our 10-minute break now? And then, yeah, we'll resume in around 3 o'clock my time. How's that?
Sounds good.
Okay, bringing the scene to end, going to commercial break. Let me pause the recording. See you in a few. And okay, we are back from that commercial break. As you can see, we lost the Shran. He was only able to stay for the first half. Unfortunately, he is feeling a bit under the weather today, but it was nice of him to try to stay up late to be with us. And hopefully see him in the next session, whatever that is, if it's this episode or the next episode. Hope he's ready for that. But we resume. So everyone, would you just let me know as we pick up your individual scenes where you would like or which of the actions, because there's so many going on, which are you going to be doing in your next scene?
Before we move into other scenes, I'd just like to have a short interaction as everyone is leaving the room. So I make sure to stand at the door before anyone leaves so that everyone can walk by, just kind of giving my nods as the captain to them. And as Alder walks by, I stop him for a second and say, Lieutenant, I know your plate is very full, but I want to remind you that your first two projects that you were working on before the away team left still have a high priority.
Oh, Captain, can you remind me? I've got like a million things. What do you want me to prioritize?
Also, Commander Lex is going to come and stand next to you as she's waiting for her turn to come out.
On that, I would actually like to just as sort of quietly and secretly as possible is do a med scan of her.
Okay.
Specifically, I want to see how bogged she is.
Okay. So are you trying to do it secretly, or are you just trying to do it respectfully?
I guess respectfully, actually.
Okay. So you come up to her and in your best professional way, you start scanning her.
She'll just actually do a sort of a very quiet, as you know, new crew on the ship, may I just do and she'll hold out the scanner, so it's not like she won't do it, you know, secretly. But do you mind if I just do a quick scan of you while you're here?
Not at all, Ensign. I assume that you're curious about our current condition and how we've survived for so long, so please, go ahead.
She'll do the scan then.
Okay. And now, while she's distracted, then I guess maybe Lalk, you can keep talking.
Lalk is thinking to himself, this ensign might need a promotion pretty soon.
Alder,
but yeah,
you're on your way out.
Yeah.
Okay. You do know what project he's talking about, right?
Oh god, I'm actually gonna have to refresh my mind. I've got like 40 things to remember now. So Lalk wants.
Mhm. Go ahead.
No. Go. It's fine.
I was gonna say, specifically the two projects were the disabling their ship and disabling their minds projects.
Okay, got you. Thanks.
Where Lalk had only originally thought of their ship, he is more and more interested in the disabling their minds aspect too.
Okay, yeah, no, that's doable.
But he's
So you will not be joining me down in Science Lab, Lieutenant?
Oh, that's.
I'm sorry.
I thought Alder was planning to come down to the Science Lab with me too.
Oh no,
Look,
I've been sent to
message.
engineering.
He got
Sorry?
reprioritized
Yeah.
to engineering.
My character just making sure. So.
Yeah, I will actually stop Weber on his way out too.
Captain.
Lieutenant. And I would assume this is after the Lieutenant Alder and is our guest still in the room at this point?
You could wait.
And take with James.
You could it's your choice if you want them to be scanned on the way walking out, if you want the scan to be while they're standing there, if you want to wait for them to leave, if you want to send her away with Drake. You let me know how you want it to be.
I would prefer to speak with Weber and then James last after the Drake and Alder and our guest have left.
Okay. So then after the scan, okay, so then Brooks, you got your scan, you got your data on this new crew member, Lieutenant Commander Lex. So the data's there for you to sift through to see exactly how widespread the assimilation is. So you're free to leave at any time now. Or I should say Lieutenant Commander Lex is also free to leave at any time now.
Yeah, because Lalk wanted to have a chat with Ensign Brooks.
So you want to send
in the room.
You want to send Lex away with Drake then? Or you want to send Lex away on her own?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh no, I thought that Alder was leaving with Lex.
Okay, you want Lex to go with Alder then? Then there they go.
Yeah, so I talked to Alder while Brooks is doing the scan, and then when the scan finishes, they can leave and Drake can leave with them.
There they go.
Drake doesn't get a talking to.
Sorry, Drake.
Just how much faith the captain or commander has in you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And and then speak with Lieutenant Weber because Ensign Brooks knows that I also mentioned speaking with them before or after the meeting. So, Lieutenant Weber,
Sir?
As you can probably see, the situation is delicate with our guest on board. I see that you have not been up to date with everything over the past couple of days. So I would like you to review the projects that Lieutenant Alder was working on before in the past 24 hours. And as he unfortunately has been pulled to engineering and to help work together with our guest, it will be very difficult for him to be able to work on these two main projects, which of course we cannot work on in front of our guest. So in the meantime, I would like you to try and work on them, as you will be able to separate from them.
Yeah.
I understand that your current research and predicament is also very important, and while it might have relevance to our potential escape, I also fear that, well, to be frank, Lieutenant, I fear the Borg. And so the sooner we have insurance to our safety from them, the sooner we can fully focus our attentions on leaving this place.
Yeah. From player to GM, can I work on these two things at the same time? So just have one running on the computer, then and work manually on the other, and go back and forth.
You will be able to. It's going to occupy your. I mean, it's going to divide your attention, so that might make the tasks more difficult. So, the more you spread, the ones you give less attention to will become more difficult than the ones you are more focused on figuring out. So it's going to come down to you to decide what you think is the bigger priority.
Yeah. Well, I'll ask the captain. Captain, which project has the highest priority in your eyes? Because I do have the feeling, without any evidence, it's just a feeling, that this message that I was given by someone or something might come from the imprisoned entity and might actually hint at a way to get out of the situation.
Disabling their ship, I believe, should be our number one priority.
Yeah.
Because the worst case scenario, if only that project succeeds, is that we are all stuck here. The worst case scenario, if we find our only project that succeeds is finding a way out, is that they not only escape and make us Borg, but then they are an even greater threat to Starfleet as a whole.
Yes.
I believe that they might uniquely be positioned to assimilate Starfleet better than Borg we have previously encountered. And allowing that menace to escape back to Starfleet space needs to be avoided at all costs.
Absolutely. I'd have the data transferred to the science lab. So our guests will have no chance of seeing me work on something like that.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Your discretion is appreciated.
All right. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Okay. And you want to talk with Brooks last, correct?
Yes. Ensign, congratulations on your first senior staff meeting. It's quite early in your career, I see.
Thank you, Captain. It's, yes, the first one I've ever attended.
I assume the doctor is plenty busy in sickbay.
Yes. With the captain not being well, and the two Jameses we have, it is definitely intriguing times.
And part of why I asked you to stand back is to inquire on the status of the captain.
Dr. Thadagia does not believe it is going to be good news. She may not wake again.
I see. do as you can to try and keep this information from our guest.
As you wish.
We do not want to appear in any weaker state than they already view us.
I understand, Captain.
And please keep me updated on both her status and on Lieutenant James' status.
Will do, Captain.
Give the doctor my best.
That I will.
And with that, I now nod and turn and leave through the door.
All right. Taking you all out of the meeting. There we go.
Brooks stands there for a second and just like does this big, oh my god, kind of thing. Like she just survived the first, briefing, and then hurriedly heads down to sickbay again.
Okay, we'll send his sickbay. Then back to everyone again. Just lay out your project so I could line up the priority for the scenes coming up. So Weber, why don't we just start with you? You are doing the underhanded project, right? The disrupting their minds.
Yeah.
That's the one you're focusing on, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Are you doing anything else? Anything else in conjunction with that?
Well, I've been wondering what there actually is that I could do about this message other than asking the computer, which I did before. So anything I could do manually, so to speak, would probably really take a long time. So I'd probably just focus on the other one right now.
Okay. All right. Then
I mean, I could still, maybe if it just takes a couple of minutes, I could type in some commands to look for patterns or whatever in this message. And
okay, so maybe also doing pattern search.
Yeah, and compare it to languages and stuff like that.
Okay.
The focus will be on the other one.
Okay. So that'll be first, that'll be second. Drake, what is your top engineering mission for you?
My mission is going to be assist Alder in his plans of integrating, not necessarily integrating, but working together with the other ship on how we can escape or how we can get to the singularity whilst trying to not blow things up by mistake and also stop the lady from somehow touching the keyboards.
Okay.
So a lot for Drake to deal with.
All right. And then Alder, what is your main concern?
I suppose I'll be pretty much like Drake said. I'll be down in engineering, trying to patch everything together, and or get away first to either escape this quotation marks prison or get to the singularity.
Okay. Okay. And Brooks is heading to sickbay to help out down there, right?
So what I was thinking of doing, well, she's going to help if there's anything that can be done for Lieutenant James, doing that, but also the scan results for Commander Lex, comparing that to what we've got on record for people who have been assimilated. Any scans we've got of Borg from the past, and just seeing how assimilated they are, like whether it is just assimilation light, diet assimilation, or whether it is they're fully assimilated and they just, because they're not connected to the hive. They're doing their own thing.
Okay.
So yeah.
Then we will check on that. Commander Lalk, how about you, sir?
I am going to go and on the bridge. I will contact the other captain, as I want to try and to learn more from him about their time here and their situation and the others that might have been present, just to see if I can find any information we might have missed so far.
Okay.
I don't think I'll be much help on the science and engineering projects.
Okay. In that case, let me... Well, first of all, hang on, I gotta find one more image here. Wait, we're going to go to the bridge real quick. We're going to go to the bridge real quick. And... hang on, there it is. Do I have you on bridge? No, I don't. Okay, can you see the bridge? Yeah, there we go. All right, so Commander Lalk, you the meeting's done. Everybody goes on their way. You come out to the bridge, and you are preparing to contact Darwin and Captain Badu. When there is the very noticeable sound and sight of a transporter beam appearing on the bridge, and another member of the why can I not get this? Another member of the Darwin teleports directly onto the bridge.
That's right, he invited another one.
He did invite another one. And as you can see, something strange as he appears in front of you. He is not wearing any insignia. He's not wearing a badge, and he is not a member of any race that is part of Starfleet. But you do recognize the species. It's the same species that was hunting you before you got into this last pocket. The ones that chased you up until this final point.
I do recall that the commander said they were sending another crew member, but I don't seem to see a rank. How may I address you?
Apologies, Captain, for my abrupt intrusion on your bridge. You may call me Harik. I am merely a crewman on the vessel. I am not Starfleet, as you might well already be aware.
I see, Harik. Well, welcome aboard the USS Grass Tyson. I believe that you have been sent for to work together with Lieutenant Weber.
Yes, that is correct.
All right. If you could go and meet with Lieutenant Alder and see if they can use your help for a short period of time. Lieutenant Weber, well, we told him not to try and replicate this old Earth human food Taco Bell in the and he did not listen to us. I've tried it myself, and now he is disposed of in the restroom for some short period of time. But I will send you message when I've heard that he's recovered and can, then he can pick your brain, as they say, for information on this being that is trapped here.
Your words confuse me, Captain, but I understand. Where would I find this Alder?
He is with your commander in engineering.
In engineering. Very well. I will report to engineering.
I nod to one of our no-names on the bridge and say, yes. Ensign Table Chair can escort you there.
Ensign Tabolcher stands up, gives you a kind of a scowl. There's no need for that, Captain, the newcomer speaks up. We already have the schematics of your ship well documented from our previous scan. I can find my way there.
Very well then, Harak. I assume then you would know how to ask for help should you find yourself in need.
For sure, my captain. Please, may I be on my way? We are in a hurry.
Yes.
He goes
And
into the
as
turbo.
soon as he leaves the bridge, I turn to the security who is standing in for Drake there and tell them to track them through the ship, and if it looks like he starts to try and tamper with anything, have security personnel be ready to intercede.
He nods.
And yeah.
Okay. All right, then let's jump down to engineering. Might as well do that. Engineering, if I could find it. It looks like that, doesn't it? So engineering there. Engineering there.
I guess I'll also very quickly open up a communication with Lieutenant Weber.
Okay, go ahead.
Lieutenant Weber.
Weber here?
It seems that our guests were able to put together their second assignment here much faster than we might have anticipated.
Yeah, I was just thinking of that. I thought we might excuse them from assisting me right now by this radiation that's still coming out of my body.
Well, for now, I have informed them of your abdominal issues from last night's meal, and that you are currently indisposed.
Yeah, I can adjust my story to that.
However, that will only delay for so long. Once the guest joins you, please switch back to your secondary project concerning your message.
Yes, and as a precaution, I should probably in advance lock them out from anything that doesn't that's not connected to this project we'll be working on. So
Yes.
there's no way for them to enter the system.
And feel free to remind them if they have any questions that they are in fact not Starfleet and cannot have access, as they are not a member of Starfleet specifically.
From my understanding, that's how they see themselves, though.
No, they just said that he's not. Harak specifically is just a crew member of. He's not.
Oh.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy is not in Starfleet.
Okay, I understand.
So it's
Yeah.
just standard protocol that non-Starfleet can't touch certain things.
Okay, yes, I understand.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems to me like an easy way of saying no to them without getting into a chain of command.
Mhm. Yes, I agree.
So thank you, Lieutenant Weber.
Sir.
And yeah, with that, I'm good with my scene.
Okay. Then engineering it is. Let's swoop over to the engineering set and make sure that's there. So we get Alder, Drake, and Commander Lex arrive in engineering to try to figure out the best way to do this. Lex looks around. Your warp core is indeed a lot more advanced than the one we have aboard the Darwin.
Indeed. But ours is pretty much not functioning currently. So, yeah, the sooner we get to this, the better.
I agree. Can you show me where I can access the controls for your warp core? I need to see exactly how efficiently you're able to process deuterium, which it appears it must be quite high if you've succeeded in this condition for as long as you have.
I'm just going to shoot
behind the
across to
lid.
Drake. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say the exact same thing while stood behind her. I shoot a glance at him. Like,
I'm just going to be looking at Lex and just sort of, you know, you must understand we're a bit more used to this this ship system. So I'd prefer if myself and my crew members handle the controls directly ourselves. Of course, you're more than happy to help us with advice, but I'm sure you understand.
Lieutenant, this is highly unorthodox. I'm the only one who knows the layout of my vessel. I'm the only one who knows exactly what we need to connect to make sure that we could work as a unified team. If I'm not able to have access to it, then I must ask, why did you even bring me here?
Why indeed? Why indeed? Well, more for your advice and knowledge than your actual practical use of our systems.
Lieutenant, practicality is the only thing that is going to get us out of here. We have knowledge. We have plenty of knowledge, and knowledge is going to die with us if we do not escape. Do you wish to die here?
Well, I think the longer we talk, the higher the chance will be we will die here.
Exactly.
And all
Lead
the
me
time
to the
I'm
controls,
glancing at
Lieutenant.
Drake. I'm just shooting lances at Drake left, right, and center.
Drake's panicking about how he's going to go about this without pissing off the lieutenant and causing a diplomatic issue.
I just have an image of Drake with a space spanner there behind it, like slowly lifting it up.
Let's try it from this point of view. Lieutenant Commander, I would like to apologize in advance for any offense that I may make towards you in this regard. I understand you have done many things to survive your current situation, including integrating yourself into this new Borg technology. However, I would like you to try and see things from our point of view. Yes, you are still Starfleet. However, from your explanation of your situation, you were partially assimilated into this new species that takes and controls ships and new species themselves. You say you were able to break out of this, and although I would like to believe you as what the hell am I? Head of security.
Yeah.
There we go. Sorry, my brain just stopped. Then. As head of security, I'm sure you can understand my concern regarding, although you may appear to be Starfleet, you were partially integrated into this new species and are able to interact directly with technology. So again, from a security point of view, you having direct access to our ship when you're able to control technology directly is a point of concern. You may well be Starfleet, and I pray that you are, and I hope that you are, and I believe that you are. However, there is always the potential that this other Borg is still there. And I, of course, hope I didn't cause too much offense.
She nods to you, looks around the engineering room. I can see by the state of your vessel that you have been through quite a lot, and that would make it understandable that you are hesitant to trust anyone that you encounter here. However, may I remind you that you came here to find us. You came here to rescue us. Now that we are so close to getting out, why are you trying to make this difficult?
I wish I didn't have.
I appreciate your fear. I appreciate your hesitation, but I also would like to ask you, Lieutenant, how old are you?
How old am I? What's average age for passing Starfleet? Is it like university?
Roughly, like you would be done by your early mid-20s, yeah.
So I'll be about, we'll say 25. We'll go with 25.
Yeah,
Make myself feel young again.
That's kind
Okay,
of
yeah. Okay. I am 25, Lieutenant Commander.
You're 25 years old. You look about 25 years old. We have been assimilated for long before you were born. We have been getting along as a unit, as one, as the USS Darwin. I can assure you, we understand how we work together now as a unified team. And I know that is foreign to you. That is an alien concept to you because you have no idea what these Borg are. But we are not whatever the Borg were. We've become better than whatever kind of mindless hive that they once had. We are using it to evolve and become a stronger team that functions as one. I'm not saying we are doing that with your ship. I'm suggesting it might be good for you to do in the future, and that way there's no longer any fear. If you were assimilated into our collective, you would know our intentions already, and you would be helping us, and we would be on our way out of here right now. But it's these individual minds, and she's pointing to everyone in the room, everyone having their own thoughts, their concerns, their fears. Some they share, some they do not share. We don't get to hear but a fraction of them, and it's these hesitations that cause us to fail. You are causing us to fail, Lieutenant. You brought me down here to help. I need to get my ship and your ship out of here and prevent any more vessels from being stuck inside this pocket universe. And now that we are at the end, you don't want me to do my job?
Never said I don't want you to do your job. Just do it in a fashion that makes us individuals and our individual fears, as humanity was before, a bit less concerned.
Then why don't you stand side by side with me and you can watch me as I work?
So long as you agree that if I find anything in any way suspicious, you'll step back immediately.
Fair enough. If that makes you feel better, Lieutenant, let's do it your way.
Then, Lieutenant, could you please find us a console where I can have good viewing?
I breathe a sigh of relief and then just point them towards a station that they can use.
Okay. Let's see, probably. Oh, we'll just pick this station right at the warp core there. How's that? Alder, you standing with her too, I imagine?
Yeah.
Okay, she starts plugging away on the LCARS pad there. Your systems are definitely arranged a lot more efficiently than ours were on the Darwin when I first joined.
We are 60 years ahead?
About that, yeah.
Yeah, technology has advanced quite a lot in the last 60 years.
It would appear so.
How long has it felt for you?
How long has it felt for us? I don't know if I could quantify the time that it has felt, stretching between the different pockets inside this universe, as well as finally joining up first into this Borg hive mind, and then separating into our own when we freed ourselves. We added memories, thoughts, data, recordings from countless worlds, countless civilizations throughout the galaxy. It feels like we've been here forever.
Let's hope not for much longer, though.
And I hope that's why you understand my intense desire to escape.
Oh, yes, I completely understand. As I watch her fingers go towards the keyboard.
Okay. And you see her type assimilate. Degrass. How do you spell Degrass again? It's all command prompt. Yeah. But she's doing everything. It seems on the up and up, and she's checking things out, and she comes to a conclusion that it appears that we might have a chance here with how more advanced your deflector technology is. We may be able to adapt that with what we have on the Darwin. And if we're able to combine the power of both ships together, I think we might have a way to reach the terminus singularity.
Drake kind of nods his head for a moment and then just kind of stares at Alder for a second, like,
I'm sort of, Alder's thinking to himself, is it a good thing if we go to the singularity? Like, is there somewhere we want to go? But, I just look back and raise an eyebrow at Drake.
I'm sure Lex is stood there wondering why I won't keep making faces at each other. Then, go on, I was going to say, how do we proceed from here?
I think in the meantime, like Alder's tending back to his console because he's like swamped just trying to get the ship functioning again. So I'm pretty much leaving Lex and Drake to do what they need to do. So I'll turn to Lex. I'll say, I'll inform our captain on this approach that you want to do. But I also need to quickly focus on making sure the ship can actually even travel to the singularity without breaking apart.
Very well, Lieutenant. Do what you need to do. I think I'll be fine here
Okay.
with Lieutenant Drake.
Then I tap my little communication badge and I say, Captain Lalk, Lexia says we have a chance if we can combine the power of our deflector with their ship, then we might be able to travel to the singularity. I'm just double checking with you if that's the route you'd like us to take.
Lieutenant, what is the possibility of sectioning off any systems that we might connect with the other ship? Is it possible to so to say, air gap, or not air gap, but is it possible to isolate engineering or the engines or the deflector systems so that if perchance they are able to invade our systems, that we can keep it to a minimum?
I could try my best to make that happen, Captain. Me and Drake will try our best to make sure that we arrive safely.
All right.
Can I ask an out-of-game question? It's something I've always wondered about.
Mhm.
Whenever in Star Trek they talk between the communicator and somebody talks back, is that over a tannoy system, or can only they hear it?
Yeah, we have that question a lot there. We're going to assume that that it just knows when it's supposed to be a private channel and when it's supposed to be a public channel. So if they announce it to like someone else that's in your presence, then the computer will just automatically put it through the speaker. But otherwise, maybe it's something similar to like the bone conduction sound that that it just vibrates in your body, like, yes, Commander, I got it, and like just shakes the knowledge into your body.
I suppose we could assume Aldous like also just walked off to the side as well. Just I think his common sense isn't too bad.
Yeah, doesn't lay out there like, yo, we trust this girl. Like, no, like I'm right here. Yeah, we'll say
do me and Drake know that there's another crew member that's just beamed aboard and is like merrily walking around?
He's about to come in soon, so you're going to find out in a second. So might as well just do that.
So he is actually heading to engineering, and it's not just randomly
What's
walking around the
up?
ship.
He comes in. So yeah, you get and it's definitely not a Federation race, but Drake, you do recognize the look of the race as the same one that was hunting you before.
And as it takes me a moment to recognize the uniform because it's an old style, I do reach for my phaser for a moment, seeing that, the guys who tried to kill us the other day appear on the ship. But yeah, once I recognize the uniform, I ask, because, it would have been nice if Lalk had told us he was coming, but ask him what he's doing here.
I was sent here by your captain to assist because something about Lieutenant Weber eating Taco Bell and being indisposed.
Taco Bell does do that to you. Well, I have my hands full here with Lieutenant Commander Lalk. Perhaps you can assist Alder for the time being in repairing our ship.
Very well.
And then I look at Alder like...
Bull, when that crew member walks in, my first thing was to look at Lex's reaction. Was there anything I spotted?
She doesn't even turn her attention away from reading the console there.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask her, Lex, is this one of your crew members?
Yes, that is Harik. He's come here to help.
I wasn't aware we needed more help, but the more hands, the merrier, I suppose.
I don't believe we do need any more help at this very moment, but we are going to need a lot of help to get this project underway. However, Harik was sent here to assist your Lieutenant Weber in answering questions about the creature that is locked away in the Singularity, but your captain told him that there is a Taco Bell related food disorder that he is suffering from, and he is indisposed.
Okay, I turn to the computer and say, "Computer, what is Taco Bell?"
And the computer,
and Drake's there, like,
the computer tries explaining to you in its best Major Barrett Roddenberry voice. It's a.
I turn to Harik and I say, "Okay, I suppose we need to get you to do something as well. Could you work with me and just try and stabilize our systems in the meantime until Weber is stabilized?"
I will do what I can.
Okay, I sort of gesture towards him to come to me and then work together on the console so that I can also just, keep an eye on what he's doing.
Okay. So you'll be working away at there, but I need to jump to the next scene if you're both okay, unless it's the last thing you want to do. Mm-hmm. Okay. We're going to fly quickly. I always click the wrong window. To the science lab. Science lab. Where are you, science lab? Okay, there's a science lab. Okay,
sorry, guys.
What's that?
I'll be back in. I said, I'm sorry, guys. I'll be back in just a minute. I've got to run to the restroom.
Okay.
I'll be back.
Go ahead. Okay, so science lab. Weber, you are in the science lab, which is also conveniently next door to your Bajoran shrine. And you are in there. You're trying to. Is that right? Hang on a second. Yeah, I might just move this weird guy out of the way. Okay, and you are trying to work on the disruption, I should say, with disruption
Yeah.
program, for their minds. If you could do some kind of virus. Talar's back in there actually doing his science job, so you have him to chat with too if you need to. So, Weber, you're working...
just to be clear, what exactly is this supposed to do?
So it would be almost like a computer virus to put into the Borg system that will maybe disconnect their minds or disrupt the connection between their link, at least temporarily, so to buy you some time should you need it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are working on that. That is going to be our first roll of the night if you're going to do that. It's a pretty difficult thing to do. Well, writing the thing itself maybe not be that giant challenge there. I want to just flip through to make sure there's no... there is the power issue that's going to be a complication, raising the difficulty. So that is a difficulty of 4 right now. Okay, and it is a computer thing. You're programming them with the Borg, virus almost. So it is a programming thing. So control and science is would be okay. Control and security would also work in this situation, but science is really the main. Security would maybe
and that's where I'm better.
Yeah. Anything you have? Let's take a look. Anything you have that could help?
Well, given the backstabbing nature of this research, I have this value of you can find a common ground with everyone. I don't know if I can challenge that.
Oh, okay. Let me see. You can find a common ground with everyone, and this is kind of the opposite of that, isn't it? Where it's
that's what I mean.
So here's what I could do. This is in the rulebook. It's something I can offer you because of this. This would go against your value of you can find a common ground with everyone. So what I could say is that the more you look at it, because Alder was the one that was originally programming this virus, or he was looking into doing this. He was the one that was going to be doing it while you were non-existent for a couple days. So this was originally his idea, not yours. So now you're getting the data and you're seeing what this is, and you're seeing how kind of dastardly and damaging this could be, because this is a Starfleet crew. Yeah, they are assimilated as Borg, but they don't seem to be Borg right now, and you're preparing basically an underhanded sneak attack on them. So that goes against you can find the common ground with everyone. When you see this data, I will ask you if you would like to either get a free point of determination. You'll get a point of determination by using this value negatively, where you basically refuse to do it. Once you see it, you decide this is not the route you're taking. You could take an alternate route if you want to. Or you could just decide to focus on something else, maybe go back to working full ahead on figuring out what happened in the shrine and put this on the back burner because you don't agree with it. But it's your choice whether or not you will, because this does go against it. So will you still plug ahead with this even though it goes against your value?
Yes, I will.
Okay, then we're going to challenge this value. So we have to cross it off your sheet, and you're going to have to rethink of how to say this value, rewrite this value at the end of the episode, because you are basically breaking your value. You're challenging it. You're going to get you're going to get an extra point of determination for challenging it and basically destroying this value as well. But I'm going to say it's also going to increase the difficulty for you because it is against your better judgment.
I thought it would actually give me a bonus. But...
what happens when you challenge it? It gives you the extra determination. So you get a second point determination. Usually you only have one in an episode.
Yeah.
But now you have two, so you could then use the determination to be your bonus.
Yeah. Okay.
So how you could again now use determination to try to lower things down if you would like, or again, like you could use a value. You could use a different value. And spend the determination on that, causing you to use two values already. Which let me write.
Yeah, but there's no. Well, I there's one value I could use for the other thing later, but not for this task.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll just use the determination to. On this one.
So not using any right now?
Yes, I'm using it on this one.
Okay, how would you like to use it? Let's see. You could make an advantage. You can since you don't want to use your other value, you could also use it to re-roll the dice in your pool. So if
yeah,
you don't,
I think that
okay.
one.
So we could do that.
Okay, so it was control and science.
So yeah, it would be control science difficulty of 5. The computer is going to be helping with you, so somebody can roll for the DeGrasse Tyson. And
I can. I've got it open.
I don't know if there's any other thing you have that might be able to help on this.
Combat tactic is probably more for space battles and stuff
You
like that.
could buy
right?
more dice, of course.
We have 5 momentum, so go for it.
5 momentum,
Yeah.
and you also have bold science. So if that's threat, then not only do you get to re-roll that die as well if you need another re-roll. It also, either way, threat or momentum will trigger your untapped potential at the end. Hang on, I still have to write your weather.
I still haven't fully.
That's okay. Just let me know what you need to do, and we'll find out the best way of doing it. So if you want to buy the extra dice, it's 1 point, either threat or momentum for the first, 2 for another, and then 3 for a final. Threat and momentum can be mixed. We have 5 momentum and 16 threat, was it? I actually, you know what? I actually think it was 14 threat because I think I spent 2 at the end with the draining the phasers and what's his name? Alder said he wasn't upgrading after that point. So yeah. So I think it's 14 threat and 5 momentum right now.
Okay, so I can buy 2 extra for 3 momentum then.
Yes.
If you buy the first one with threat, though, you can re-roll one of the dice if they go bad.
Okay, as long as someone keeps track of these things, I'll do that.
Yeah, that should be fine.
That's all this job.
So one threat, so up to 15 threat, and then 2 momentum, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll be rolling 4 dice now, and Drake will be rolling 1 die on the DeGrasse Tyson as computers and science.
Okay, and no focus.
And I don't believe you have a focus. DeGrasse Tyson does have a focus, though.
Okay, so I think that's cool. Wait. Oh, I had it.
well,
or pressed twice accidentally. Which one do we take? The second one, I guess, because it's the most recent.
yeah, we'll take the second one, but it's still not enough. So you're
Yeah.
programming it, but it's a very complex code, especially for the Borg, and you're not entirely sure if
Gets
these
one
people
reroll.
Yeah.
people are even Borg. So you can re-roll. Yeah, the
Mhm.
one that, well, technically, if you find a way to spend your determination, you could re-roll even more to try and get double things. But yeah, you could re-roll your thingy, your 0. So just roll one thing. That didn't count. That okay. So again, if you're able to spend one of your points of determination, you could try re-roll. Now, do you have to spend? Do you have to spend any? Hang on, where is it? Okay, so here's the thing. If you do that, it re-rolls. It says on here re-rolls all the dice in the dice pool. So that might be good. That might be worse. We could find out. But it's
Yeah,
called. It's called Moment of Inspiration, so it's another thing where you basically have to use a value for it. So you could say your hateful truth is better than ignorance. Kind of fits because this is a very hurtful truth right now. Trying to betray your fellow Starfleet people and. Better than being ignorant and they betray you later, right? I'm just stretching things. Stretching.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
If you're just
okay for you.
yeah, I'll buy it. I'll buy it. So
Okay.
there you go. Okay, so you use one of your 2 points of determination. Okay, you could re-roll all 4 of those dice again. And how we do this time? Even worse. Okay. All right, so going off of that.
That overrules the first one, right?
Yes,
First
yes,
one.
unfortunately. Okay. Unfortunately, that is a complication this time. So as you are going through there, you're realizing that there is just nothing that you can get programmed through this computer that is going to do the effect that you want. It's not even as solid the idea is. You're just not equipped with that type of virus. It would probably take far, far too long than what you have time for to program it.
Okay.
So unfortunately, that comes up as a bust. But it does kind of free you for the other things that are going on. So Talar will come over to you, say, yeah, that doesn't look like it's going to work. Might want me to take a look at it before you start programming things, but whatever. Why ask me? I'm only in the same room here. Start sipping his coffee.
Well, if you see any if there's anything that you can do that I might have overlooked, please.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I'll definitely do your job for you too. Yeah, just send it over to my station.
And in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, put it in the folder marked trash. That's just my nickname for all sorts of incoming transmissions. Don't worry, I misspelled transmission. That's what it is. You'll believe it. You're Bajoran. You believe all sorts of crazy stuff. And he goes back to his station to work.
Okay. Well, I guess I can trust him with that. So I think the next important thing is to lock out our guests from possibly entering the system once they are at some terminal.
Mm-hmm. That would be a much easier thing to do as a science officer. Yeah. So
probably one that doesn't even require a roll.
Doesn't even require a roll. Yeah. Unless they start actively trying to break through the locks, then you don't have to do a roll on there. So you'll just start locking out.
At which point, red alert will be triggered. Probably.
Yeah. Okay. Next, moving over to sickbay. Sickbay with Ensign Brooks. If we're going into sickbay. Okay, so we'll have Brooks at a computer working on the Borg thing. Yes?
I think my answer's kind of already been answered, though.
Has it, though? But does Brooks know? Does she know? But tell me, what data does Brooks come across?
Well, they were assimilated, so they are Borg. They would be completely Borg.
And yet they're not.
Wait, what? They're not, did you say?
Do you see any tubes coming out of them? Do you see them assimilating you? Are they speaking as we's?
They're not assimilating us. Yet.
Yet.
Alright, let's scan.
There you go. Alright. So it's going to be easy with the ship computer too, helping you out since you're plugged in. So Drake, you already got that beautiful thing open. Why don't you do with the... it's going to be another computers and science again with that. And with Brooks, it's going to be, of course, we'll say for this, it's just reason and medical. Medicine, not medical. Medicine.
Xenobiology as a focus?
Xenobiology as a focus for a board thing? Yeah, I'd say that could work. Why not?
Oh.
It's difficulty 1. Only difficult. Actually, it's going to be bumped up difficulty at 2 because of all the computer problems and you're using DGT. So yeah, it's a 2.
All right.
Any extra dice?
Yeah. Yes. Can I please buy a
Oh,
momentum?
I apologize. Weber, you also get to roll 1d6 because of your untapped potential. I always forget that.
Just a second.
Sure. Apologies, Brooks. I always forget about untapped potential.
You're fine.
What we got there? So that is 3. A 3 is a blank, so nothing. No plus or minus. Okay, we're good. Thank you. Okay, sorry, Brooks. Back at it.
You're fine. I would like to buy 1 dice with momentum, pretty please.
Okay, well, it's there, I assure you. Okay, there you go. All right, down to 2 momentum and 15 threat. So 3 dice.
I've clicked it, but it's not coming through. Let's click again.
I don't hear any whoops on my side either.
No,
No, I see.
There we go.
Well, which one do I take though? I'll take the 001, not the 010, because I don't know. And look at the DeGrasse Tyson. Look at that. Coming in with the save. Okay. So the computer processing is really good. You get 1 of the... It's there. Wow. Wow. Okay. You get 1
It's there,
of the...
it's not there. It's there, it's not there.
No momentum? There's a moment. No. Okay. All right, so it's processing going through. You see that their bodies are filled with Borg nanoprobes, as you would imagine. The probes are doing what typically they do in most Borgs as well. They're constantly repairing the cell structures. They're almost like little doctor robots in there, keeping these crew members alive that should be much more advanced in age than they are now. So it's keeping them young, it's keeping them young-ish, keeping them fresh. There are some parts of technology in her blood where you see it's into her nervous system, it's into the brain. There are some external components of how they will connect into their alcoves, but they never became fully Borgified. But you see, there are slightly different readings coming from these nanoprobes compared to what are on in the database as a standard for an assimilated creature, assimilated being. There is definitely an inconsistency between the two readings.
Okay. Having a look at this, if we were to shift back into normal space, and Borg, as they do, reconnecting with the hive, does it look like... Sorry, I'm just trying to think how to say this. But does it look like they would reconnect, or does it look like they have the ability to reconnect back to the greater hive based on what we know of the Borg?
Okay, I think
Or does it
that's
look like
something.
they're independent enough?
If you spend one momentum for the what's it called, the obtain information, yeah, I could
I'll
give you.
spend that.
Looking, it seems like these nanoprobes have, I guess the best way to describe, there's a type of membrane around these nanoprobes. It's kind of like a dampening agent that it's almost as if the nanoprobes themselves are infected by a secondary technology that is creating this membrane, and that appears to be keeping it separate, I would say, not transmitting or not reaching out for a greater collective.
Right. I will get Thadagia just to have a quick look over it. I mean, we don't need to roleplay that necessarily, but just to confirm that what I'm seeing is what you've just described. And if that's the case, I will then communicate to the bridge.
Okay, Thadagia will come over, take a look at your findings, and agree that it's exactly as it looks for you.
Okay. Taps the communicator. Commander Lalk, Ensign Brooks to Commander Lalk, Captain Lalk.
Yes.
I've just finished analyzing our guest, Commander Lex, I believe, and some interesting results, Captain. She then, are you near a station at the moment, Captain? Can I send it to your console?
Go ahead.
Transfer the information to the captain's console there on the bridge. It looks as though our friends might not be as infected as we think. They seem to have some sort of membrane over the nanites, though they are very infected with the nanites. They seem to have the nanites under some sort of control, with some other technology that they've developed.
This must be what the technology that their captain mentioned.
It
that they
might be
received,
an idea to have one of the science people have a look at this further, see if we can develop it and or make sure it's not going to fail, or you know, at the very least to study it, because if they've found a way to separate themselves from the Borg, I mean, this will be...
I certainly
Quite
can see
amazing.
I can certainly see the application once we have returned and helped to restore them to their former selves. It will be valuable technology for Starfleet. However, we still must remain vigilant while they are infected. Hopefully this lessens our the danger of them leaving. But I'm sure I don't need to tell you that we must do everything we can to prevent ourselves from being assimilated.
Of course, Captain.
Please send these results forward to Lieutenant Weber and Lieutenant Alder.
I'll do that right away.
Thank you, Vincent.
She'll then sort of transfer the information to both Lieutenant Weber and Alder's stations.
Okay, so both of you will have that data available to you now to let you know the kind of Borg they are. Okay, everyone okay with that? Can I move on to the next scene, or any comments on there first? We're good? Good. All right, so then in engineering and that, now that Lieutenant Commander Lex has found an inn, according to her, of how best to keep get the ships working together to reach the terminus singularity. Probably everyone would be called into another senior staff meeting to discuss what needs to be done. And probably Captain Badu would like to be part of it as well, whether that's on screen or you allow him to come to the ship. Commander Lalk, that's your call.
Does he specifically request it?
Well, he's going to have to coordinate everything to happen on his ship, so he needs to know exactly what's going to happen.
No, I know, but does he request to board my ship, or our ship, rather?
Well, let's roll a die and find out.
Okay.
Let's roll a die and find out. Use that. He does not request it specifically.
Well, then I will not request his presence physically. I think that we already have plenty of Borg on our ship, and you know what they say, three's company.
That's a good show. I missed that show.
So, but his presence via visual screen will be welcomed.
Okay. I don't think welcome is the right word. You haven't been welcoming to him at all since this whole thing started.
Has it been time for me to look into the message more deeply?
Yeah, you'll have time for that in 1 second. I'm just trying to settle these pictures. We'll get to that 1 second. You're running scans there. Again, you said you just want to be running them like what's the word? Like running, leaving it to the computer, like setting it.
Well,
like
now that I failed at the other one, I can.
Oh, so you're going to be okay. So I'll let you do a roll onto there as well to see if that speeds up anything it might find. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And can I use the other value? All mysticism will be explained by science.
Oh yeah, that's a really good one. Yeah. So that could spend your last point of determination.
And while we read it, also use my mythology focus. That will be kind of a contradiction though between focus and value then.
I don't know if the mythology is going to work in this one. What else do you have here? Let's see. No, probably not for this one, but definitely that value works out really well. Okay. Hang on here. Let me just populate this room again. And get that in 1 second if it means. All right. Where's Alder? Everyone will be in attendance for this, yes?
I believe so.
Okay. Who else will we see here? Nope. I think that's okay. Yeah, because the Shroud is not able to join us right now. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. So let's, before we go into that, real quick, let me have Weber do his role. So all mysticism will be explained by science. So you're spending your last point of determination. So you use 3 values in 1 episode. Not bad, not bad. That's
No,
good.
2.
You challenge 1, and then you used 2 more.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. So what?
Oh yeah, the other one was Supernatural Truth is better than. Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot about that. Okay.
So the computer is going to be running that, and you started focusing your full attention on that. So you're using that value on there. What I will say is, I think it might be, yeah. It's your choice. Do you want to do it as you want to use the determination to give you an advantage on the roll, or do you want to give it the success, the double success on it?
What will the roll be?
Yeah, that's good to know, wouldn't it? It's going to be another, for this one, it's going to be insight. It's going to be insight and science, and it's also a difficulty of 4.
So the choice was to double 1 success or to have 1 extra die.
The one would be creating an advantage to make it the difficulty easier, or the other one would be as if you rolled a critical success. On 1 die. On 1 die, you still have to make your other roll. So it would give you 2 successes that you need out of the 4.
Yeah, use that one.
Okay.
I do that.
So then.
Okay.
So it's again. I don't know if your voice cut off or if you just stopped talking. It's an insight and science. It's right now you have your standard 2 dice to roll. But if you want to buy more dice, it's going to start at 2 points because you used your determination as the first die. So are you buying any more?
Yeah, I bought 1 extra.
Okay, so are you doing that with threat or momentum?
Momentum.
Okay, so momentum's at 0 now. Then that's 1 more die, and the ship is also helping with its computer. So Drake, if you would like to do the ship again with computers, and it's going to be science again.
Yep.
Looking over the focus once more. No, nothing there. Okay.
Oh, we got there. 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1. And we already have 2 successes from before, so that's 5 successes. So that's 1 point of momentum back. There we go. All right. So you're running your scans, you're running your not scans, you're running your algorithm, trying to piece it together. You know there has to be something scientific to it. It can't just be all mysticism. It can't be that, because that's not what you believe. Whatever happened to you can be solved by science, and so you don't give up. You plug away, and you finally. The gibberish isn't making any sense, but the computer starts extrapolating with the numbers themselves, and you start finding out information and piecing it together that if you arrange the numbers in a certain way, you get coordinates. You get a series of coordinates. So I am going to just tell you what those are in a DM on Discord, and you'll know that as you make your way to the conference room. How's that?
Yeah, that's great.
All right, so everyone's heading into the conference room. Honestly, there you are. Okay, Discord.
Is there any way for me to get a bonus question out still?
Yeah, I think so, because it's you use the computer with it, so yeah, you could spend the thing. So I'll get that. So yeah, you could spend the momentum for that.
But I have to spend it before you can tell me if.
No. No, you could tell me what the question is, and if you don't even need to spend it, yeah.
Okay, the question would be to if I can see if there was an actual intelligence behind this. Well, actually, no, I already know that. Actually, don't really have to ask this. Or what nature maybe the intelligence was. Anything about the sender of this message that I could get.
That you don't need to spend anything there. There's nothing about what you were able to extrapolate from the random message that suggests any of that, since it was just the numbers themselves that were available to you.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so it sent that. Let's go right to the conference room if we're not there already, which we are not. All right, now we're there. Okay, so everyone's back in the conference room again for reasons because of how critical the captain is. Thadagia sent Brooks in his place again, especially since she's the one that cracked that the Borg are not entirely Borg. Okay. Going to take the crushing silence as a yes, we understand completely. And we'll move on. So, in the room, what's her name? Lieutenant Commander Lex is explaining. Captain is on the screen. Captain Badu is on the screen. And I actually was kind enough to roll on the Technobabble chart. So what Commander Lex is saying needs to be done, and she's explaining very professionally as, somebody with love engineering knowledge, is you are going to using parts of the deGrasse Tyson's deflector, they want to integrate it with their own ship systems, allowing them to amplify the nanothermal polarizing equalizer in their own deflector. And she theorizes that what this will allow them to do with the Borg technology on the ship is create a transwarp bubble that will allow them to slip between the folds of this pocket universe, and it only leads in one direction, and it all goes straight into the terminus singularity. So if that could be done with the two ships working in tandem and flying almost together, sharing the same warp bubble, both vessels might be able to reach the interior in this shortcut cheating way without having to be pulled into oblivion.
That seems like quite the solution, Lieutenant Commander. What do you believe the probability of success is with this? How difficult will it be for you to accomplish?
She looks around the room, said, I would be lying to everyone here if I told you this was going to be easy. In fact, this is going to be extraordinarily difficult. Although your technology is Starfleet and the Darwin is also a Starfleet vessel. The difference in the leap between the Oberth class and this Nova class is quite extreme. We are going to have to be extremely careful if we are to get this done correctly. Unfortunately, there really is no other solution, and no other vessels we come across are quite as compatible or advanced as your vessel. So I'm asking that your crew and the crew of the Darwin, we work closely together and do as much as we can to prepare to make this transition as smooth as possible so that we stand a chance. But again, I have to emphasize the risks involved. And while I believe that we will get this to work, if we are not careful, we might lose one of the vessels along the way.
That is, of course, an outcome that we must avoid at all costs.
The alternative is that we all fade away into oblivion here with no chance of getting back. So, as much as I would not like to lose either vessel, it's certainly a risk we are willing to take. And she makes eye contact with Captain Badu on the screen.
Probably more as a player question, because I don't think Brooks would think of this, but I'm just making sure I understand what's going on. Are they wanting to take our deflector dish and put it into their system?
It want to take parts of the deGrasse Tyson's technology and integrate with their own, yes.
Digitally, though, right?
What's that?
Digitally integrating, not physically removing parts and putting
physically
it on
removing parts.
Oh, physically removing parts.
Physically removing parts, yeah.
I mean, to be honest, in some ways that's almost preferable.
Yeah, because you don't want them linked to your computer, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's not an air gap, it's a vacuum gap, but same difference at this point.
My only concern there would be that they get our technology and then scarper off and leave us dead in the water. But
well,
that's me being cynical, I guess.
Yeah. But at the same time, I mean, if they wanted to, they could just shoot us.
And take it.
That wastes their energy, though. This way, they get our stuff, us willingly. They don't waste energy, and then they go, and then we're like, bugger.
Huh. Just watch them raise off. I'll be damned.
They'll be back.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? God, it's been weeks.
Well, I mean, I can
Love
think
that
of one
episode.
I can think of one way that they're guaranteed to take us.
We're not becoming Borg.
Unless we keep an integrated crew, like we do swap crew.
I mean, we've got one already.
We've got lots of John Does, don't we?
Well, I mean, I think at that point we would need to just send everyone that's been working on engineering over to help them physically install, so we would have a number of personnel over there. Can use the excuse that we know the new technology and how to unassemble and reassemble it much faster than they do.
Alder's going to have an away mission.
Mm-hmm.
No, thank you.
So yeah. I think that we'll have to go along with their. I don't see many other options.
Worth the risk.
Yeah. So everyone else, I guess I just want to ask as players, if everyone else is on board with this, considering it's season finale and how big of a decision it is.
Yes. Drake
Yes.
is definitely on board.
Mhm.
I imagine everyone's just following Drake's lead there then.
Yeah, I say go for it. I don't think there's much other choice.
Okay. Well then.
I mean, in this instance, like Brooks is just sitting there, trying to keep quiet, trying to almost not be a part of what's going on.
Right. But I guess I was also asking if, as players, what your guys'
Yeah.
opinion are. Even though it's breaking the immersion and such, like, I don't know. I guess as an individual player, even though I'm acting captain right now, I don't want to make this big of a decision without other players, even if it's metagaming input.
It's fine. Bill can cut it.
Nope, cutting
Bill's
none of
been
it.
very quiet. What do you think we should do?
I think. Let me see here. So on the hey, wait a minute. No, I'm just letting you have your talk. That's what the conference room's for.
It's like one of those choose your own adventure books that we can just read both pages, which is more legible.
I didn't take my finger off the page.
Well,
Save point. Let's create a save point.
Well, David, when you come here, if you sneak a peek in the notebook, then you'll have all the cheat codes. So.
Oh, that'll be fun.
No, go ahead. Keep
Yeah.
talking.
If we're really going to meta play, then I think that would be a really boring ending if the Oberth just kind of, okay, cool, bye. And then, oh yeah, that's the end of season 1. You all die here. Very boring ending, so.
And that's the day
let's
Neil
risk it for a
deGrasse
bit.
Tyson logs on to watch the episode.
Yeah.
Hey, these
Leave him
people are
behind.
crap. They solid
Well,
my
the other
name.
thing too is, what if? I mean, this will be a little unpopular, I guess, but the deGrasse Tyson is a newer ship. Why not integrate? Because it's not the Borg technology on the ship that's ever the problem of assimilating. Like, Borg ships don't assimilate. It's the Borg themselves that assimilate. So putting Borg technology on the ship, and by the way, thank God James isn't here at the moment because, I wouldn't say this, but, could put Borg stuff on our ship, their crew on our ship, and we all go in the one ship and try and tow theirs. So if it all does work and everyone gets through fine, we've still got their ship and their crew, and then they can go back on their ship and, hey, we're all heading back to Starfleet. But I think safety in numbers in some respects, if we're all on the one ship and the newer ship is used, potentially there is better chance of it working, I would say. But obviously then we'd need to put Borg implants on the ship, or Borg technology on the ships, not implants.
I love how you preface that as it's never the Borg technology that's the problem if it's on the ship, it's the Borg, and then proceeded to say bring all of the Borg on the ship.
A lot of people for David to check up on there.
Yeah. He keeps looking at everyone's fingers. Don't touch anything! Don't touch it! What are you doing? Get away from that replicator.
But I
All
think
right, we
that's
have
not
other
a
Drakes,
bad
don't we?
idea, though. Shut up. We got 2 Jameses at the moment. Don't use that. Choose
Sorry.
which one we keep. But yeah, no, I think the potentially going with the route of upgrading our ship rather than theirs, given that ours is the more advanced one, it may be less work, and we can keep everyone on board. But
Yeah.
Captain.
My understanding is that there's really no difference between the Borg ship and the Borg individuals.
They are one.
Borg ships can't assimilate, though. Like, the technology, I don't think...
It can spread, though.
I mean, I guess the.
Oh, I guess it can, yeah.
Picard, I guess in like Picard, they're like working on the cube extensively, like as an archaeology site or whatever. So they were able to interact with the ship in a way where they're not being assimilated.
Yeah. Well, a Borg ship has never assimilated anyone. The Borg have assimilated, but David is right, or Drake is right, though I think it was out of character. The Borg technology has, I think, from memory, on a few occasions spread, but I think the risk is worthwhile, because it would be easier to do one ship than two, and ours is newer than theirs. So I would say bring the Borg tech over on to our ship and just monitor it closely.
Actually, I'm going to play... Go on.
Sorry,
Adam.
if I could channel my inner Theshran, yeah, like, why don't we just kill all the Borg? Then they can't assimilate us, and we have two ships.
Because they're technically Starfleet right now, Alder, and that would be a massive breach of the Prime Directive and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Hey, this is Theshran speaking through me.
Well,
I mean,
we
technically,
threatened to Theshran with
they know how to do this. So I don't think we can do this on our own, because they know the Borg technology. We don't know the Borg technology. We need them. So you'd need to keep one alive.
I think Alder's is sort of semi-against this, because I don't think I would like a large number of unknown people who could potentially be threats to be on the ship as such. So I think Alder, from his side, would prefer the two ships strategy.
Bill, just a question, quickly.
Yes.
I think last session, it was said that there were only half a dozen or a dozen.
I think
humanoid, or
less than 2 dozen.
Less than
2 dozen. Okay, that's more than I thought.
Not to be the finical German, but how are we discussing this in game with two Borg?
We're not.
Yeah, that's why they broke us out of the game. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not playing James, and James wouldn't have suggested some of those things. So
it's okay. It's okay to do an out of the game sort of conversation like this, since no one here is a Starfleet officer. You don't have protocols in that, so letting everyone sort of get ideas in your head of what might be there, that might be good. The thing I like is the longer the talk is going on, the more insane the ideas are becoming.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think we should probably go back to the beginning of just go.
You got like this nice plan that or we slash their throats at night, and it's like, wait, what? Where'd that come from? Then we become Borgs. It's like,
I just see Drake's carrying one of their uniforms with him, like a stormtrooper outfit.
Yeah, okay.
Not gonna leave this swag behind.
Carrying bloodied monster maroons with him. Okay, I'm going to curb the out of character discussion, throw it back into character now, back into the scene. We're going to have to take over because time is coming to an end. So here we go. We're back. We're channeling back into the eye sockets of your characters and begin. There we go. Captain Badu on the screen will say, Captain Lalk, I hope that you are willing to work with us on this, but by all means, if you have a better plan, now would be the time to hear it.
No, Captain, I believe we have come to the best solution that's available to us. We will provide engineers to help with the transfer of equipment, both the uninstallation and reinstallation, as I believe our engineers have been trained on how to do this as fast as possible. And As we've said, time is of the essence.
I agree. And thank you. It's very fortunate that we were sent such a strong and brave crew to find us after all these years. I think we're finally going to get to go home together. And Franzi makes a special guest appearance on the show. Okay. And as we are approaching the end of the scene anyhow, we're approaching the end of our day, going to end it there with the chime comes on, communicators. It's Thadagia from sickbay. Captain Lalk, this is Thadagia.
Yes.
Captain, Lieutenant James has just woken up. And it's not the physical Lieutenant James. You might want to come down here, sir.
I'll be there immediately.
Can I join you, Captain? I have something to tell you. How about us coming in? We can do that next time.
Okay. And we're just going to draw it to a close here. And that is the end of session 2 of episode 10. A place for everything. Thank you very much for joining today. Thank you everyone who is watching, and we will see you in the next session, whenever that may be. So peace. See you next time.